Hey everyone, this is Cindy again, and I am super excited to introduce you to my friends, Linda Yameen. I'm just so excited, and once again, I'm emotional. So this is a really special moment. So before I give her an opportunity to say a word or tell you why she's here with me, take a breath, know that you're here for a reason, and consider hitting that share button right away. Just hit the share button and invite your friends to hang out with Linda and I for the next 15-20 minutes, give or take, depending on how it goes. Take a breath, hit the share, place a gentle smile on your face, and thank you for being here. I love, twice a year, give or take, Pure Presence puts on a conference. Doesn't cost anything to register. And I get the pleasure of working the conferences behind the scenes. And it's been such an extraordinary gift for me because I get to meet new teachers, create new friendships, learn about new ways of being. And my world has really been transformed because of that. That's not how I met Linda, though, is it? Linda is a student like myself, and she's just so phenomenal at the way she shows up. And she and I have done some podcasts and some interviews together. And she is also a yoga teacher, and she's done standard types of yoga for years, and then she came to these conferences, and she, like I, fell in love with Jeff Bailey and Avita Yoga, and so Linda got real involved in that work, and she's merged it with who and what she is. And at the Seeking conference in 2 weeks from today, I think, 14th, 15th, and 16th. She will be one of our participants. She'll be leading a session that is called Yoga for Life. It's free to register. Boy, would we love to have you there. How's that for an intro, Linda?
Oh, Cindy, thank you so much. I am incredibly excited to be a part of the Pure Presence Conference. I've been a member of the Teachers of God Association for years and met Cindy through that. I met Bill Free, Lisa Natoli, and I couldn't wait for the very first Pure Presence Conference. So exciting. So those of you that are tuning in now, this might be your very first conference that you go to, and I'm excited for you to be there. I'm mostly excited that I get to share and I get to teach yoga because that is a passion for me. And Cindy, if it's okay, I'll kind of tell people how I got started and then we'll go forward. But I started to teach yoga 12 years ago, and I was trained in a beautiful style of yoga, but it was very athletic. And a lot of the shapes and poses that we did required, quite a bit of coordination. If you had an injury or a limitation, or if you were an older beginner, things had to be changed a lot. And as much as I loved teaching that style, I could see right away that most of the people that came to my yoga classes really needed something a little bit different. And it's kind of funny, even though I was teaching this athletic yoga, I was still putting in little quotes from A Course in Miracles in between the poses. At that time, I was listening to Marianne Williamson, and I would just write down things that she said during her weekly live streams, and I would just sort of throw that into my yoga classes and little meditative moments. And I didn't even tell my students that it was A Course in Miracles quotes. I would just, say one of the phrases or one of the workbook lessons and just meditate for 2 minutes. So I was already doing a little bit different style of yoga in the midst of that athletic style. And a couple of my students would say to me, I would hear this after class, they would say, Linda, you're teaching something different besides regular yoga, aren't you? And I would just kind of smile and say, yes, we're going a lot deeper than just let's work up a sweat. So anyway, through the next, 10 years, I just began, continuing to teach yoga, continuing to teach at different studios and different places in the Midwest. And then the pandemic hit. Most of the yoga studios closed, and a lot of them did not reopen. Well, around this time, I was, swimming with Teachers of God Association with all the different things they had going on. And they had a Pure Presence conference with a yoga breakout session, and it was Jeff Bailey. And of course, I'd never heard of him, didn't even know what style of yoga he taught. But I thought, well, I'm going to tune in. I want to listen to the speakers, but gosh, I want to see what kind of yoga this is. So I participated and listened to Jeff's presentation. And I immediately knew this is the style of yoga I want to teach. It was so gentle, yet really effective. You could feel the changes in the body. And Jeff always focused on the inner peace. So it didn't take me very long to figure out, okay, I want to do this style of yoga every day. And I want to be trained in this style of yoga. So, long story short, I've done the training with Jeff Bailey, and you'll hear from him, at the retreat as well, or at the Pure Presence conference. And I just really love to share it with people. So, having said that, that's how I got started with Avita Yoga. And it really is yoga for life. It's not something to be practiced once in a while. It's something that you can use as your daily yoga practice or your twice a week yoga practice, or you can use it for tune-ups after you go out and do an activity. And I'm just excited for you to experience. So Cindy, that's my, commercial and my training background.
So, it's funny because I just took a quick peek on Facebook, and our friend Shelley is watching. I love you, Shelley, and thank you for noticing my haircut.
I know Shelley. Yes, hi, Shelley.
Yes. So Shelley, and for anyone else, Linda and I were just talking before we came on. And I am also a student of Jeff Bailey and his yoga, and I do his yoga every day. And I discovered Jeff through the conferences, and he and I will be doing a Facebook Live together next week, I think. And I'll try not to cry through that one, because it really did. This yoga, I was having, the yoga is an extraordinary experience for everyone. And that's what I wanted to just talk to you about, Linda. You and I were talking about it beforehand. More often than not, Shelley comes to all the yoga sessions, but she sits in her chair and she does things from there. Anyone is invited to the session and anyone can benefit, right? Can you talk about that a little bit, what to expect from the 90 minutes people would spend with you in the
Yes. Here's what my session will be like. And my session is actually a 60-minute yoga class. I'm not sure if there's a Q&A afterward. Cindy, you'll have to let me know. It may just be a 60-minute class. And anybody who wants to participate, I am going to teach it as if you're doing some of the movements, but don't let that hold you back. If you just want to be in the room and listen, and be a part of the process, that's completely fine. You might even find that, if you buy the recordings, which will be offered, and you'll get emails about that. But if you might find that, the next week that you want to actually sit down and participate and do some of the movements. But if you don't want to do the movements that day, don't let it stop you from coming. The energy in the room is always fantastic. Even if only 5 or 6 people actually are on a yoga mat or laying down on the floor, the energy is wonderful. And there's a really beautiful, peaceful quality to this meditative yoga that we all love so much. And I know, like I said, Cindy's been practicing as long as I have. And there is a peaceful presence that is palpable. It really is, whether you're in the room or on Zoom or doing the movements or just watching. So I hope that will, allow some more people to come in the room, even if you're not like a serious yoga student. That's not a problem.
Right. And this isn't really just about yoga. You know, yoga is a tool that we use on this journey. And this conference has been titled The End of Seeking. And you and I have had quite a few conversations just about mindfulness and presence and the headless way and all sorts of fun things. It would be just awesome if you'd perhaps take a few minutes and share what this concept of the end of seeking means to you and your personal practice. It's the coolest name for a conference ever, I think. What does it really mean to you and where you are right now?
Cindy, I love the name of the conference, The End of Seeking, as well. For me, it just means we're already there. We're not trying to get to be more awakened or better people or more spiritual. We are already there right now. It's really a matter of just recognizing that. Sometimes you hear remembering, and that's really what it is, just remembering the true self, knowing that this personality of Linda or Cindy and some of the others in the room, that's temporary, that changes all the time. You know, we're here for a short while, and then the true self is always here. And there's no continual seeking. It's simply a recognition that you are here, you are presence, you are consciousness. There's no going anywhere, unless we want to call it going home, which sometimes people phrase that. Ram Dass, we are all walking each other home.
The home we never left. Yeah.
Exactly. The journeyless journey, you hear that many times too, because we're not going anywhere. We're right here where we need to be.
So I'm feeling so peaceful, and I think I might do some yoga after this. Here's the thing, though. The End of Seeking conference, it begins 2 weeks from today. Yeah, it's September 16th, 17th, and 18th. There are something around 25 teachers and musicians from lots of different traditions, all pointing to this same truth. To register to this conference and to attend live costs you nothing but really your email address, and the link is right there in the comments section. There's definitely opportunities to buy the replays. There's opportunities to help support this conference, the Pure Presence community. Been doing conferences, you know, since the beginning of COVID, essentially. And it's been such an extraordinary experience. I think there's close to 2,000 people that have registered for this event already, and we're still 2 weeks away. So that's extraordinarily exciting. So if you're here, if you're listening to Linda and I, breathe into that for a minute. And why not be part of this experience? It's teachers from essentially all over the world coming to share their time and their experience and their pointings, and it can really rock your world without a doubt. So we would love to have you there. I know people that have brought their mothers and their children and their spouses and their friends. So really hit share, take that link that you see in the Facebook group and share it, you know, with everyone you know, because it does end up being a bit of a party. Yeah, you meet amazing people like Linda, and I'll be there. Is there anything else you'd like to share, Linda, before we call this conversation?
I am just very excited about what's going to happen in 2 weeks. And if you decide to come to the class, again, one thing we will explore is what we call healing sensation. And Jeff Bailey will talk about it, I will talk about it, and then we will have the experience of what healing sensation is. Whether you're in your chair or whether you're on the floor on a yoga mat, you will have that experience. And once you discover what healing sensation is, then hey, game over. Your life changes.
I can attest to that. I could give my testimony to that. I'll probably talk about it more next week in a conversation with Jeff, but it's extraordinary, and it's for everyone. I mean, I've sent people with Parkinson's and other fairly serious physical concerns to Jeff, and it really makes a difference.
It's so amazing. And then what I've learned from Jeff is that when you're in your body, when you are experiencing the sensations of the body, there is just this peaceful presence. And I think, of course, miracle students might just call it the Holy Spirit, but it's already there. There's no finding it. There's no seeking it. It's already there. We just masked it. And in a yoga class, it really just reveals that healing presence that's already available to you.
Well, thank you so much, Linda. I had a blast, and I'm feeling so open and quiet and peaceful and excited for what's next. And yeah, click that button, register, share with your friends. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Until then,
thank you.
holding you right here in my heart.
See you
Love
all.
you.
Namaste.